All right. It is Friday, September 19th, 2025. And as you see in the title, this is a very special edition of Think Blue. Breaking news yesterday, about 24 hours ago at this time. Clayton Kershaw announces his retirement. Came out of nowhere. There was never anything that got leaked to the media or anything during the season that, hey, this could potentially be his last season. But um, apparently, a lot of the players knew already, wanted to keep it hush hush. And yesterday, about 1:15, 1:20 LA time in the afternoon, the announcement was officially made. And at today will be his final start at Dodger Stadium. It's crazy. Just like that, in a blink of an eye, Clayton Kershaw's making his final start today. And um, you know, I'll just start off right here. This has been a possibility for the last, I'd say, maybe 2, 3 years now, going back to maybe 2022, where there was always rumors. Because for the last couple years, Clayton Kershaw was on like a year-to-year contract basis, so he would sign like a one-year deal for like the minimum, whatever, like 8, 9, $10 million, whatever, and he would be a free agent at the end of the last couple seasons. And there was always a question of, hey, maybe he'll go to Texas because he's from the Dallas area. Maybe he'll go to the Texas Rangers and finish his career there because that's where him and his family live out there during the off season. But so this has always been quite a possibility, but I just can't believe that it's actually happening. Um, Sports figures like this, you think they're gonna play forever, and you think that, oh, they're never gonna retire, but father time catches up to everybody, and I don't think it still hasn't sunk in yet. It hasn't sunk in yet for me, and it doesn't seem like it's sunk in for a lot of Dodger fans yet. That just out of nowhere on a random Thursday afternoon, in the middle of the final homestand of the Dodgers 2025 regular season, the Dodgers make the big announcement, and yeah, and here we are. Of course, the resume speaks for itself. Over 3,000 strikeouts that happened earlier this year. You know, three-time Cy Young Award winner, a five-time ERA title champion, over 200 wins, an MVP in 2014. The pitching triple crown, a Gold Glove award, and of course the two World Series championships. And that's just naming some of the accolades that Kershaw achieved over his luscious, whatever you call it, 18-year career. But um, it's gonna be so weird not seeing 22 on the mound next year. It's going to be so weird. For the first time in almost 2 decades, the Dodgers will not have Clayton Kershaw on their roster sheet when we begin spring training next year in 2026. That's going to be so weird, but um, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I was sad yesterday, and I know when I get to the ballpark and once he, you know, all the stuff starts and he starts throwing and pitching, I'm gonna be an emotional wreck. But I'm just so happy that Clayton Kershaw is able to, one, be healthy, and two, go out on his own terms, and three, pitch pretty damn well. Remember, he is 10-2 this year, and he has an ERA, I believe, under 3. If not, it's a little over 3. But Freddie Freeman said it perfectly yesterday. Like, Clayton Kershaw, they have needed all of his starts this year, and he's delivered once again. And I am so happy that this is the time for the send off because, we all have sports heroes. We all have icons. We all have players that we look up to. You never want to see them go out, either on a bad game or on bad terms. The perfect example of going out on, like, on literally on top, not obviously winning a championship, but Kobe Bryant's 60 game, dropping 60 points in his final game against the Jazz in 2016. That's like the ultimate going out on your own terms, going out on top. And Clayton Kershaw, he has an opportunity to do something like that. Now, the equivalent to Kobe scoring 60 points for Kershaw tonight, I think, is throwing a complete game shutout. I think it's something like that. But um, I am so happy that Clayton Kershaw is going. He's healthy and he's not going out on a bad note. He's not going out on a bad note because remember, he could have retired or left the Dodgers 2 years ago. His last postseason start against the Diamondbacks, that game when he got lit up for, eight something runs in the first inning against the Diamondbacks. And, obviously there's that famous photo of him just with his, hands in his face, sitting in the dugout, after not being able to come through again for the Dodgers. But um, we were hoping that wasn't it. We were hoping that, hey, there's still something to this. And um, I'm so glad that he came back and he's pitched so damn well this year. We didn't see much of him last year, if at all, because he came back and then he got hurt again with his foot. He had his shoulder redone this offseason and his foot. And then he comes back this year and he looks pretty damn good, pretty damn effective. And um, there's a big question mark around, and I'll get into this maybe next time because today I just want to focus on Clayton Kershaw. But um, Clayton Kershaw pitching so well in his final season in 2025 has really handicapped the Dodgers, specifically Dave Roberts, Brandon Gomes, and Andrew Friedman, because he has pitched so damn well, and he deserves a spot on the postseason roster. How he gets used is a question for another day. But the way he has pitched this season, he definitely deserves a spot. And I don't think. Now, listen, Dave Roberts, they're never going to say this, but I don't think they had envisioned in the back of their minds that Clayton Kershaw would be this good. Obviously, he's not just going to go out there and, give up 6, 7 runs every game just because of his age. Like, he still was going to produce, but I don't think they were expecting 10-2 and an ERA of under 4. So for Clayton Kershaw to go out on his own terms and to go out pitching extremely well, impressive, impressive. And in a season with a bunch of stuff going on, the injuries, like I said, the Dodgers really needed these starts from Clayton Kershaw, and that's something that is going to get lost in all of in everything. When we're talking about his Hall of Fame career, you know, in the next coming years and down the road when he eventually gets inducted into Cooperstown for the Baseball Hall of Fame. But the 2025 season, his final season, 10 plus wins, only 2 losses, not a bunch of strikeouts, but that's okay. He doesn't have the stuff to really strike, 10 guys out anymore, but still effective. And I think that's the thing I'm going to remember the most about Clayton Kershaw. Um, Icon, legend, and a champion of this city forever. You know, Clayton Kershaw, again, a lot like Kobe Bryant, was one of those guys that, came over here when they were just kids, man, and they turned into something great. And you know, it's been so cool, for the last, like I said, almost 2 decades to not just see Clayton Kershaw evolve as a baseball player and as a pitcher, but just see him evolve as a man. When he first got here, it was just him and his girlfriend at the time, Ellen, and it was just the two of them. There was no kids or anything. And fast forward now to where all the kids are there at the game, and the fifth child is on the way. So congratulations to the Kershaw family once again. But seeing Kershaw come full circle here and turn into the veteran and the father, and it's crazy. It was, again, there's a lot of similar things here with Kobe and Kershaw, just the impact that they had on this city, the winning, the accomplishments. There's a lot of similarities, and this is a happy day, but it's also a sad day because you guys got to understand something. I'm only 23 years old. Um, my entire life, and I mentioned this on the video on my instant reaction I put out yesterday on the Around the Diamond Instagram page, that you know ever since I was a little kid and able to comprehend things and where I was at and what I was doing, when I first got introduced to baseball was obviously through the Dodgers, but Clayton Kershaw has been on the team my entire life. My entire life. And um, again, like I said, it's gonna be so weird just not seeing 22 there next year. And I'm sure you guys see the jersey behind me. I got this jersey. My parents, it was a Christmas gift like in 2016, 2015, one of those years. I was like in middle school, and I've had it ever since. And um, without getting too really personal or deep into it, but man, this jersey behind me has seen a lot of stuff. This jersey has seen me crying, because I was sad because the Dodgers got eliminated from the playoffs or Kershaw had a bad playoff start, to tears of joy when the Dodgers won the championship in 2020. So um, Clayton Kershaw has been a part of my life, my entire life up to this point, and um, I'm happy that he's gonna be able to go into the sunset. And it seems like this weekend now is dedicated to Clayton Kershaw, because obviously he's making his final start tonight, and then his bobblehead, his 3,000th strikeout bobblehead, is tomorrow, and then he's gonna address the crowd on Sunday for the last time. So Clayton Kershaw has been a part of my childhood, and honestly, I can really say that he's one of my heroes and one of my idols. I don't have a picture with him. I don't have a signature of him on the jersey or a baseball card or a baseball or anything, but I do have two interactions with him that, um, again, it's very small, and one of them I have on video, but of course I'm not in it. But um, two interactions with him that I'll never forget. And hopefully one day I will get the opportunity to actually, meet him and shake his hand and just say thank you. Just say thank you for all the memories, all the accomplishments and the achievements, man. I'm sure you guys know this. I love the Dodgers. I embrace players that want to play for my team and for this city. And Clayton Kershaw did that. Clayton Kershaw did that for almost 2 decades, and I'm sure there was many times where he could have left and gone somewhere else, and especially in the last couple of years when he wanted to, maybe go back home and play for the Texas Rangers just to be closer to home. But he said it last year at the parade after the Dodgers won the 2024 World Series: Dodger for life, and that is exactly what Clayton Kershaw is, a Dodger for life. Drafted here, got developed here, made his debut here, saw his prime here, everything. And it is so cool that Clayton Kershaw spent his entire career with one team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mentioned this yesterday too. When they're reading off when he gets into the Hall of Fame and he's eligible for the first time in 2031, because every player that retires, they have to wait 5 years before they get on the ballot. But um, Clayton Kershaw, when they're reading off his Hall of Fame plaque and they're reading all the accomplishments, it's gonna say World Series champion, 3,000 strikeout, 20th pitcher in history to do that. But when they say the teams that he played for, it's only gonna say one team, and that's pretty damn cool. That's pretty damn cool. Not many players anymore are sticking around with one team. A lot of guys like to jump ship, or they get traded or things don't work out. But um, it's gonna be so cool that, number one, Clayton Kershaw only played for one team, and when he goes into the Hall of Fame, he's only gonna be wearing one hat, that beautiful Dodger blue hat. So um, it's a sad day. Yesterday um, was a double whammy, if you will. I don't know. I'm a hockey fan. I love the LA Kings. Anze Kopitar, a legend in this city and another icon and another champion as well. Um, he announced his retirement as well. I knew that yesterday, Thursday morning, before everybody else knew. And he made the official announcement at 3:30 yesterday, and I felt bad for him a little bit because he made the press conference was set for 3:30, and by that time, you know, everybody's Instagram feed, everybody's Twitter page was filled with just congratulations to Kershaw. And, Andre said that you know, they did not talk about doing this the same day or anything like that. It just happened to work out like that. But kind of a very sad day in LA sports yesterday. Obviously, we want to celebrate them, and Andre Kopitar is still going to play out his final season in the NHL. Clayton Kershaw, this is it. This is it. He has the one last start tonight, and then he'll probably get one more start on the road, most likely in Seattle next weekend, and then we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if this guy's going to start a postseason game or what's going to happen here, but um, tears will be flying. I know I'm going to be crying. Like I said, this guy's been a part of my life, ever since I started comprehending what baseball was and what the Dodgers were. Um, so, yeah, crazy. I can't believe it. I'm gonna keep telling myself that, you know, until, oh, even next season as well. Like, it hasn't sunk in yet that he's calling it quits and calling it a career. But tonight, it's gonna be emotional, man. There's gonna be emotion all around Dodger Stadium, and um, I just really hope. I hope that he has a good start. I hope he has a good start. You know, I hope he just. I want him to pitch well, and I know he wants to pitch well too, and everybody wants him to pitch well. But um, what better way to go out than going out against your arch rival, the Giants, team that he's beaten the most, I think, in his career, if I'm not mistaken. But um, it's gonna be a fun night either way at Dodger Stadium. If you're gonna be lucky enough to be in the building tonight, embrace it, enjoy it, because not many guys like this come around anymore. Guys that spend their whole careers here, guys that have this much success. Clayton Kershaw was one of one. Um, there's never gonna be another one like him, and nobody's ever gonna wear number 22 again. And um, we're coming up on this, and really Clayton Kershaw is the first one to really lead this off. We have so many active players right now. We have a few that I think are going to go down as all-time greats, Hall of Famers, legends. And it's starting here with Clayton Kershaw, and obviously his number 22 is going to get retired, and I would like to think that he's going to get a statue out somewhere at Dodger Stadium. But we're starting this trend here where we're going to have a bunch of legends here, like you know getting to their end of their careers. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani still got some ways away, but um, this golden age of Dodger baseball that has been going on for really since 2013 when they first got back into the postseason. They haven't missed it since. Um, Clayton Kershaw was at front and center of the majority of that success. And listen, I understand he had some bad postseason losses, and don't get me wrong, I don't want to. I've seen it all. I saw, the Cardinals both years in 2013 and 2014. The Astros in 2017, but that's different because it was cheating. But um, don't let these other haters fool you. Clayton Kershaw had success in the postseason as well. He even came in relief 2 times. He came in relief in a winner-take-all Game 5 against the Nationals with 2 runners on base, was able to get the last 2 outs to secure the Dodgers into the League Championship Series in 2016, and he also closed out um, the pennant in 2018 against the Milwaukee Brewers to send the Dodgers to the World Series. And if you really want to stretch this more, inspired Walker Buehler to put his spikes on, to get in the bullpen, and close out the final game of the World Series last year at Yankee Stadium. So the impact Clayton Kershaw has had over these last 20 years is never going to be forgotten. And I'm sad that it's all over. I know I'm going to be crying later today and probably all weekend, but I'm just happy that he's here. He's doing it with one team, and I'm glad he's able to go out on his own terms, because not a lot of guys can do that. And I'm glad Kershaw's still effective and he's able to be. He had a good season this year. It's not like we're just They just weren't throwing him out there every fifth day. Oh, it's Clayton Kershaw. Let's go see the old guy who used to have it. No, Clayton Kershaw still has it, and he's still producing in his final season of his career, and I think that's fantastic. Um, the one thing, and I saw it again today. Um, Now, one of this I actually saw in person because like I said, I work at Dodger Stadium, but I saw the video again this morning of when the Dodgers got the final out in 2020 against the Rays in Texas. You know, the relief on his face and seeing him run out from the bullpen to the mosh pit of the Dodger players celebrating, on the infield after they had just won the championship. I'm never going to forget that. Remember, Clayton Kershaw did not win his first ring until like year 14, 15. He was already at the back end of his career, still productive and still very good in 2020, but not what he was like in 2014, 2013 when he was winning MVPs and Cy Young awards. But um, there was a point for the longest time, like, are we ever gonna see Clayton Kershaw win a ring? Are we ever gonna see that? And thankfully we did in 2020. And even though he did not pitch in 2024, just to see how happy he was at the parade last November, I'm always going to remember that too. His speech, him holding up the trophy and going crazy. I was crying. I was crying when I saw that live in person last year at Dodger Stadium. And it's been so cool the last couple seasons to see Clayton Kershaw get his flowers, not just from the Dodger fan base, but from Major League Baseball. And I've been fortunate enough to be in the building for some of Clayton Kershaw's final achievements. I was there in 2022 when he became the all-time strikeout leader in Dodger franchise history. I was there in 2023 when he got his 200th career win for his career. And I was there just a couple months ago, earlier this summer, July 3rd against the White Sox when he got his 3,000th career strikeout. So very fortunate to be in the building for his final achievements. And we've been going to Cooperstown, all of us at Around the Diamond. We've gone to Cooperstown every year since 2023. And I cannot wait. We're still a long ways away. We're 5 years away. But I cannot wait to get to Cooperstown July of 2031. God willing, I make it. God willing, I'll be there. God willing, we all make it. But I'm going to be an emotional wreck when Clayton Kershaw gets inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2031. I'm going to be there no matter what. I've said that for the last couple years now, especially now that I'm traveling and I'm actually able to go to the Hall of Fame for media credentials. I am going to go, credentials or not, to Clayton Kershaw's Hall of Fame induction ceremony in Cooperstown, New York in July of 2031. You can book it right now. And hopefully I can't wait. Hopefully I can come back to this video in 5 years and say, you did it. But a tip of the cap to Clayton Kershaw. Thank you for all the memories. Thank you for all the accomplishments, man. I gotta go before I start choking up here. Um, Everything you want in a Dodger, a leader, a champion, everything on and off the field. That's Clayton Kershaw. That's Clayton Kershaw. Generous with his time, generous with the media, generous with everybody. Um, I wish him the best in retirement. I know he has four kids and a fifth one on the way, so he's gonna be pretty occupied, you know. But don't be a stranger, man. Don't be a stranger. I know he's gonna go back to the Dallas area and raise his kids over there, but don't be a stranger. Come back to Dodger Stadium. There's something special and magical about seeing the old alumni come back for big playoff games or just to come out just to see the team. And I always see, having worked at Dodger Stadium the last couple of years, seeing the sparkle and the magic that is in like the older generation of Dodger fans in their eyes, like when Fernando was still alive, God rest his soul. Like when he would come back, you would see all these older people that would get excited and they would turn into little kids again. You know, when Fernando would come back or Kirk Gibson would come back or just the 88 championship team or the 81 championship team or just the old players like Steve Garvey, you know, Davey Lopes, whoever. Um, Clayton Kershaw is going to be the first one for me when, you know, he's retired and he's going to come back and that sparkle is going to be in my eye. And the tears probably going to be in my eyes too because I got to see the greatness of Clayton Kershaw for all my life. And it's sad to see you go, but I'm just happy that he was able to go out on his own terms. But um, this weekend and this episode is dedicated to 22, man. There's never going to be another one like him. And that number is going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor at Dodger Stadium very soon. Very soon. And no doubt in my mind that he's going to get a statue as well. Oh, man. Whew. All right. Well, um, that came out of nowhere. Had to do this. Had to do this. Next time you see me, hopefully the Dodgers will have wrapped up the division. If not, you know, so it'll be another title of this video. But enjoy the game tonight. Even if you're not going, I know it sucks it's on Apple TV, and I haven't heard that Spectrum's going to carry it. So hopefully everybody gets a chance to watch it today, you know, his final start. And if you're lucky enough to be there, man, enjoy it. Take pictures. Do whatever you can because, like, this is history. This is history. One of our very own, one of our legends, one of our icons is calling it a career. And I'm so fortunate and I'm so lucky that I'm going to be there in the building tonight. And I'm going to soak it all in. And I hope Clayton Kershaw does as well. And I hope he pitches well. And I hope the Dodgers get another win. Thank you, Clayton Kershaw, for everything, man. There'll never be another one like you. Adios.